Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
Let me go into the configure object definition first of all. What I will do, I will duplicate the screen. To configure object definition. And then here I will open manage data. And in configure object definition, let me take the division here. As the standard NDF object. And here also, because whatever we are seeing here in the manage data, if I am going with division and I am opening the record for any of the division here randomly, we can. In the previous sessions, we have seen this is a MDF object. Correct? Standard MDF object. And under this MDF object, these are the standard fields. Correct. In our previous session, we have discussed how these, where we can find this MDF object that is in configure object definition, and there we can find the standard field also, which is showing here, where it is showing as a start date division code and everything same thing we can find here also in object definition division. When we scroll down, we have a field section. Correct? It starts from here. External code name description. Same thing, it will be coming here. When you go into the details here, you can see division code will be showing. Here you show it. Yes, this we have already done. Just a recap. I was just going up. When you go into the front end in the managed data, we can also see the two objects are. The two objects have a link to each other. That is a relationship between the two objects. One is the division, one is the business unit. These linking of the object is known as an association of the object. The association of the object configuration is also done here. When I scroll down after the field section, we can find here we have the association section also. This is the association section where we are linking the two objects together. When I go into make collection, when I scroll down, I can able to go and see this is association section. To go into this system again, we have to know what is an association, what are the type of association and how the association works. I will take you into my Excel sheet where let me check. I have the document prepared for association. When you go here, just a correction here. Multiplicity is 1 to 1 And when we discussed about types of association, the first one is, when we go about association is what to define the association. Association is linking or creating the relationship between two objects. I am not referring any MDF objects. I am only referring to objects. I hope my screen is visible, correct? We can define, first of all, what is an association. Association is nothing but a linking or creating a relationship between the two objects. What are the type of association? If we want to see the type of association, if the interviewer asks one is valid when another is, we have a composite. These are the two type of association. One is valid when and another is composite. And we also have the association where we have a concept of multiplicity. Multiplicity defines the association, how the association is being done among the two objects. There are two ways of doing the association with the help of multiplicity, that is, one is one-to-one and another is one-to-many. That is one thing. One is one-to-one and one-to-many. That is the way how an association will be done between the two objects. When we discuss about one-to-one, when we want to discuss about one-to-one here, one-to-one, we can able to go and take an example here. One before going into one-to-one and one-to-many. As we define the association is nothing but creating a relationship between the two objects, and the type of association is valid when and composite. And to creating the association, we have the ways. That is one-to-one and one-to-many, but when you are going and creating an association, the company structure view, we have a company structure view. In the company structure view, how the company structure view goes on grid, it starts with the legal entity. Below that, it will be having a business unit. Then it will be having a division department. Like that, we will be having the various objects which will be aligned to each other. That we refer as a company structure view in SuccessFactors. The top object. What is the top object? We can say the top object is the legal entity. Bottom object can be anything. How the structure is being configured. When we discuss about association, association is always done from, we can say always done from bottom to top. The configuration of association. Configuration of association in SuccessFactors. Is done from bottom to top. To give you a better and to give us a better understanding, we have this structure. You can see, we can say this is something like this is something like a company structure overview, right? Company structure overview. When we discuss about this, This is the company structure overview. Under that, how it will start. It starts with the legal entity. We have the legal entity here, and below the legal entity, we have two business units. We can say there are two business units. And each business unit, we can say each division will be there for each business unit. And each division will be having the department. We can say these are the departments. Each division will be having two departments each, and each department again will be having the respective position. I just formed a small company structure overview. When we can see the top object is the legal entity, and here we can see the bottom object is the position. Whenever we are doing the configuration in SuccessFactor for the association is always done from the bottom to top, not from the top to bottom. For example, if you want to associate these two objects, department and position, we will say the position is associated with the department. We will not say that department is associated with the position. It means that when you do the configuration, when you go into the system that is configure object definition, you have to go into the position. Under the position, you have to associate the department. The destination object will be the department because that is the association which we are doing here. It will be bottom to top. Similarly, if I am taking example of department and division department is associated with the division. We will say in this way that when we do the configuration, we will go into configuration object definition under department. We will configure the association for department with division. Destination object will be the division understood. If you want to link department and business unit or department and legal entity, that is also possible. If you are going in association with department and legal entity, we will say that department is associated with the legal entity. When we do the configuration under the department, the destination object will be the legal entity to which we are configuring it. Understood? Always remember the below object. Under the below object only you will do the configuration for the above objects. Now you cannot do the configuration for the association for legal entity because legal entity is the topmost object here. But when you go and see business unit, you can associate only with the legal entity because above business unit only legal entity is there. Correct? Similarly, when you go with the division, you can link either with the business unit or with the legal entity or linking both business unit and legal entity because both are above the division. Understood the concept here? Same case vice versa with the department and the position. Always the association will be from the bottom to top. If I want to show you into the system also, you can see here the object. Here it is division, right? And above division they have what is the association they have done. They have taken business unit and legal entity. Got. But they have not taken department. Why they have not taken department? Because if they will take department, that is not a correct process. It is nothing that the system is restricting you. System will not restrict you, but you are doing the configuration in a wrong way. We need to understand the company structure overview. Department will never come above the division. Correct. It will be coming under the division only. Try to understand that whichever is coming under that object, above that object, that will be taken as a configuration. And you can see here they have taken, when we go into the column here, association, name, multiplicity, destination, object and type. Name is something which we are taking the. What is the object which we are associating with the division? Here they have taken business unit and the legal entity. What is the way they want to associate? That is one-to-one or one-to-many. What is one-to-one and one-to-many if they are going and associating? When you go here, you can see here division and legal entity. It is a one-to-one. When I go here one-to-one, how you recognize it is a one-to-one? Because system is not allowing us to create the another record. Already, if you have selected one record, system is stopping there only because that configuration is one-to-one. Suppose if I am taking here something, let me take here as a legal entity. It is taking and it is not allowing me to add another entity. That concept is one-to-one. One object is connected to another object. Here in this case, you take one object is connected to multiple objects, that is many objects. Already one business unit is associated here. If I want to again associate this division to another business unit, let me take another business unit here. Again, system will allow me to add another. This configuration setup is called as a one-to-many because system is allowing me to add multiple records here. Association. But here, when you see division and legal entity system is only allowing us to add one-to-one. How it is happening? Because here in the configure object definition, we have done the configuration in that way. That is the importance of multiplicity. Understood here when I show you here the drop down. Also, you have only two, one-to-one and one-to-many. Any questions here before going ahead? Destination object. What is the destination object that we have taken as MDF? That is a business unit legal entity here. Type. There are three types mainly. We focus on the two types only: valid when and composite. Valid when and composite. What is the meaning of valid when and composite? When you are taking something as a valid when, it defines that you have MDF object and that MDF you have an opt. That object is a part of the MDF. Now in this case, you are creating an association, division and business unit. Both are a part of the same object, that is MDF. Their life cycle is, they both have the same life cycle. And both exist in the same place. That is how, where they have created, that is in configure object definition. In that case, when you are associating the similar object which has been origin from the same area, then we will be going and taking valid when. And here always remember, there is a parent object and there is a child object. Imagine that this is a parent object and this is the child object. Division, if I want to show you in Excel, assuming that this is the child object and these are the parent object. When you are associating the child object and the parent object, both objects are coming from the same area, then we will be going and doing with the help of valid when, because both have been defined at the same place, the child and the parent one. Both are defined in configure object definition only. Correct? Even if I go to legal entity also, I can find here only. That is the reason when doing the association for same objects, we will be going with valid when, because both are MDF only. Now when we will be going and doing the composite one. Composite one is used when the child object is associated with a parent object and the parent object is other than the child object. Means it is the parent object is something connected outside the child object. Child object is created in configure object definition. Correct? That is division. Now, if you want to link a parent object which is outside the child object, that is outside the configure object definition, you will be using composite. For example, if I want to do division and location. Suppose let us take, I am taking an association between division and location. If you see, division is a MDF object which is being in the configure object definition. Location is a foundation object which is defined in the corporate data model in the XML. You are linking an object which is outside the MDF. Then you will be going and taking the type as a composite. Got it? The difference between valid when and composite. Let me scroll down. Just give me a moment. I missed some points somewhere. Here we have discussed. This is something which I have taken from the document. This is some scenarios which I have taken. If you see these scenarios, if you need to go and see the scenarios, we can see here. The first column is association before migration. The second column is if it is before migration, where it was defined. After migration, where it is defined. Migration means what? All these legal entities, business unit, division, department, all were coming earlier under foundation, only correct before migration. When SAP has identified these important structures and they moved these structures from the FEF. Oh, and they created a new feature that is metadata framework MDF. They have been migrated. Before migration, they have kept the scenario that before migration MDF. MDF, it is also called as MDF or generic object geo also. Don't get confused. When before migration, assuming that two objects, the two MDF objects which we call right now as an MDF object, let's take business unit and legal entity. This business unit and legal entity before migration, where it was configured or where it was defined it in XML. That is, it is saying that corporate data model. The association is being done in the corporate data model for example, for the business unit and the legal entity. Now same scenario, NDF and MDF after migration. Once it has been migrated, where it is defined. After migration, it is defined in configure object definition, which we are seeing right now here in the association section. After migration, we have this feature, that is configure object definition, where we are doing this association. Now we have the second scenario. This was MDF to MDF, means both objects were MDF. Now the another scenario, one object is MDF and one another object is foundation. Taken an example like the division and location or business unit and location or location group, the child object and the parent object. When you go and see, the parent object is outside the child object. When you go and see the division and the location is not defined. It in the configure object definition. Correct, it is defined outside. Here in this scenario, MD, F to FO. If it is a scenario before migration, both objects were a part of foundation, only they were defined it in corporate data model. And after migration, what they have done for MD, F to F. Oh, they are defining this, configuring this, association it in the configure object definition. How they will be doing the configuration for identifying the foundation object. What they have done, they introduced a feature called this one, what you call wrapper. That they can distinguish the group of foundation objects compared with the MDF. When you go and select here MNDF and foundation, you can see all the foundation objects. All the MDF objects are showing what all objects are there which is related to the foundation. They have included a term called wrapper. For example, if I want to go and create something as a location, I am parallelly showing you. I want to create association as a location. I will put the name as a location. And here I will take as 1 to 1. Now location is what a foundation object. To what SAP has done to distinguish what here? What is the scenario here? This is MDF right object and this is foundation right to MDF to foundation. That is the third scenario in a second scenario. Which we are doing in that case. They have used for foundation, they are used for wrapper. When you go and see in the destination, lot of objects are there. It is very confusing to identify which is the foundation. You need to search with the name. To make the work easy, what they have done, they added the term wrapper with each foundation object. When I will try to mention wrapper, you can see all the foundation objects will be showing at a time. Can you see here? Event is in wrapper frequency, geozone, location, group location, pickup. All things will be coming. It will be filtered only the foundation objects. Because foundation object is being configured outside the MDF right and you are creating this association in the MDF only right. That is the reason they introduced this concept of adding the wrapper. Suppose I am using the location because I am associating the division and the location. And in this case, I will be taking the type as composite. Then I will go to the details here And in the details, I will specify this as location. And let me default value also I will take as location. And I will click on done, and here I will try to save it. When I will try to save it, it is been saved. When I scroll down, we can see an association is there. Location 1-to-1, the destination object location. It is a type composite and we updated the if you want to see and which are the objects we connected division location right to check it is coming or not. What I will do, I will try to refresh this page once. Now I will go to make connection, and can you see here location also? It is coming here right when I go and see all the locations will be showing here. You can see an association between the location means MDF and FO. Right? This is MDF and MDF one to many. This is MDF and MDF one to one. Correct? This is MDF and FO one to one. Is it clear? Why I am showing you? Because this type of a requirement only comes when you are into implementation project. Because once the project is being implemented, then you don't have to do any changes in the organization structure configuration. This is a one-time activity when you are setting up the organization structure for your customer in the system. Once it has been done, then you don't have to do anything. I am just deleting it because I want to make the system back to normal. I shown you the configuration, how it is being done. Any questions from you and how we have done the association? That is the second scenario which we have seen MDF to foundation. Foundation to MDF. If you recall, I covered this foundation to MDF in the copy data model XML. The code had I covered it had I shown you. You showed the XML elements. Is that correct? Under that we were having the option of association also. Let me open the XML also. This we have completed in the previous sessions. XML. When I go into the table view, under copy data model, under the HRIS element, if you go and see here, we have discussed about ID label, HIS field. Can you see association? Also, it is showing here. When you take location, when I will go and take location here, let me go and take location is a foundation, right? Manage all job, all pay and job structure, and when I open the location, I am opening the record for the location. You can see there is association, right? Location and legal entity, correct? How many associations are there in this? For if you want to see, we will go back into the XML and here in the location is my screen visible. When I go into the association and when I click on the tree structure, here you can see association again. I click on the plus sign and when I scroll down, you can see how many associations are there. There are two associations, one to one and one to many. One is for geozone and one is for legal entity. Correct and here required equal to false means it is not mandatory. When I go and if I want to show you one association is location with legal entity correct. That is the reason. Here you have a plus sign because it is one to many. Here you can see one to many. For the legal entity means again you can able to add if it is required and another legal. Another association is location and geozone. Can you see a geozone? And finally do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.